Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us. Of the media, it is a pleasure to be with you in this virtual stakeout. I know one of the UN correspondents has been hit by the epidemic. My thoughts are with all of you in this difficult moment we are all facing. We are facing a global health crisis, unlike any in 75-year history of the United Nations, one that is spreading human suffering, infecting the global economy and upending people's lives. A global recession, perhaps of record dimensions, is a near certainty. The International Labour Organization has just reported that workers around the world could lose as much as $3.4 trillion in income by the end of this year. This is above all a human crisis that calls for solidarity. Our human family is stressed and the social fabric is being torn. People are suffering, sick and scared. And current responses at the country level will not address the global scale and complexity of the crisis. This is a moment that demands coordinated, decisive and innovative policy action from the world's leading economies. We must recognize that the poorest and most vulnerable, especially women, will be the hardest hit. I welcome the decision by G20 leaders to convene an emergency summit next week to respond to the epic challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, and I look forward to taking part. My central message is clear. We are in an unprecedented situation, and the normal rules no longer apply. We cannot resort to the usual tools in such unusual times. The creativity of the response must match the unique nature of the crisis, and the magnitude of the response must match its scale. Our world faces a common enemy. We are at war with a virus. COVID-19 is killing people as well as attacking the real economy at its core: trade, supply chains, businesses, jobs. Entire countries and cities are in lockdown, borders are closing, companies are struggling to stay in business, and families are simply struggling to stay afloat. But in managing this crisis, we also have a unique opportunity. Done right, we can steer the recovery towards a more sustainable and inclusive path. But poorly coordinated policies risk locking in or even worsening already unsustainable inequalities, reversing hard-won development gains and poverty reduction. I call on world leaders to come together and offer an urgent and coordinated response to this global crisis. I see three critical areas for action. First, tackling the health emergency. Many countries have exceeded the capacity to care for even mild cases in dedicated health facilities, with many unable to respond to the enormous needs of the elderly. Even in the wealthiest countries, we see health systems buckling under pressure. Health spending must be scaled up right away to meet urgent needs and the surge in demand, expanding testing, bolstering facilities, supporting healthcare workers, and ensuring adequate supplies with full respect for human rights and without stigma. It has been proven that the virus can be contained. It must be contained. If we let the virus spread like wildfire, especially in the most vulnerable regions of the world, it would kill millions of people. As we need to immediately move away from a situation where each country is undertaking its own health strategies to one that ensures in full transparency a coordinated global response, including helping countries that are less prepared to tackle the crisis. Governments must give the strongest support to the multilateral effort to fight the virus, led by the World Health Organization, whose appeals must be fully met. The health catastrophe makes clear that we are only as strong as the weakest health system. Global solidarity is not only a moral imperative, it is in everyone's interests. Second, we must focus on the social impact and the economic response and recovery. Unlike the 2008 financial crisis, injecting capital in the financial sector alone is not the answer. This is not a banking crisis, and indeed banks must be part of the solution. And it is not an ordinary shock in supply and demand. It is a shock to society as a whole. The liquidity of the financial system must be guaranteed, and banks must use their resilience to support their customers. But let's not forget, this is essentially a human crisis. Most fundamentally, we need to focus on people, low-wage workers, small and medium enterprises, the most vulnerable. And that means wage support, insurance, social protection, preventing bankruptcies and job loss. And that also means designing fiscal and monetary responses to ensure that the burden does not fall on those who can least afford it. The recovery must not come on the backs of the poorest, and we cannot create a legion of new poor. We need to get resources directly in the hands of people. A number of countries are taking up social protection initiatives, such as cash transfers and universal income. We need to take it to the next level to ensure support reaches those entirely dependent on the informal economy and countries less able to respond. Remittances are a lifeline in the developing world, especially now. Countries have already committed to reduce remittance fees to 3%, much below the current average levels. The crisis requires us to go further, getting as close to zero as possible. In addition, G20 leaders have taken steps to protect their own citizens and economies by waiving interest payments. We must apply the same logic to the most vulnerable countries in our global village and alleviate their debt burden. Across the board, we need a commitment to ensure adequate financial facilities to support countries in difficulties. The IMF, the World Bank, and other international financial institutions play a key role. The private sector is essential in creating investment opportunities and protecting jobs. And we must refrain from the temptation of resorting to protectionism. This is the time to dismantle trade barriers and re-establish supply chains. Looking at the broader picture, disruptions to society are having a profound impact. We must address the effects of this crisis on women. The world's women are disproportionately carrying the burden at home and in the wider economy. Children are also paying a heavy price. More than 800 million children are out of school. Right now, many of whom rely on school to provide their only meal. We must ensure that all children have access to food and equal access to learning, bridging the digital divide and reducing the costs of connectivity. As people's lives are disrupted, isolated, and upturned, we must prevent this pandemic from turning into a crisis of mental health, and young people will be most at risk. The world needs to keep going with core support to programs for the most vulnerable, including through UN-coordinated humanitarian and refugee response plans. Humanitarian needs must not be sacrificed. Third and finally, we have a responsibility to recover better. The 2008 financial crisis demonstrated clearly that countries with robust social protection systems suffered the least and recovered most quickly from its impact. We must ensure that lessons are learned and that this crisis provides a watershed moment for health emergency preparedness and for investment in critical 21st century public services and the effective delivery of global public goods. We have a framework for action, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, and the Paris Agreement on Climate Change. We must keep our promises for people and planet. The United Nations and our global network of country offices will support all governments to ensure that the global economy and the people we serve emerge stronger from this crisis. That is the logic of the Decade of Action to deliver the Sustainable Development Goals. More than ever before, we need solidarity, hope, and the political will to see this crisis through together. Thank you.
Secretary General, we're now going to take questions from the press. This is a virtual...
Healthcare workers, your safety must be a priority. You have to take care of yourself well. You have to be in the adequate PPE. For instance, when you are at triage, you have to put on your basic apron, you have to put on your gloves, and then if you suspect influenza-like illness, then you'll have to put on your mask. You'll have to ensure that you dress yourself properly.
Good morning, Africa. Good morning, wherever you are. This is Daytime Express from Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from the satellite system, miles away from the headquarters in Nairobi. Viewers, this is our Daytime Express, which starts with the news at 9 o'clock, which we have already passed, and you saw the clip from the Secretary General this morning. Wherever you are, we are on the subject of COVID-19, and that is what we are going to discuss this morning. Good morning in New York, good morning in Kampala, good morning in Cairo, good morning in Asmara, Khartoum, good morning in Harare, good morning in Dar es Salaam, good morning in Kigali. Wherever you are, wake up, let's go, let's work for the nations. Let's work for the world. The COVID-19 has destabilized the entire economies, the entire systems, social, economic, and even political systems could come to changes. Thank you very much. It is going to happen. So we must prepare ourselves as citizens and human beings left. The most important job now is to save the humanity, is to save human beings. We are not interested in whatever the economy might come. Those who are jumping the gun and are talking about the economy, I'm talking about everything before you save human beings. The most important thing at this moment is to save humanity. It is not the question of who, what. Don't apportion blame. I can see so many people in Kenya apportioning blame. You are portioning blame when we have not even come in the middle of the river. We are at the one side of the river. So we haven't even swum across. Then we are starting to apportion blame. Or we are saying the president, or we are saying he did this, or this. I am very, very disturbed with a man called Moses Kuria. As soon as I finish this broadcast, I'm coming down on him. I know what it is. I know all his small pitfalls. So we shall deal with you also the way you are dealing with the president, the way you are writing against the president. We are going to deal with you also. Write the way you write. And then you will see that there are people who also love you. So thank you very much, viewers, wherever you are in Kenya. This is Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting from the satellite system in Nairobi, miles away from Nairobi, the headquarters. Later on at 11 o'clock, we shall have Miriam coming in with Good Morning Africa, where comprehensively, but this is a Good Morning Express, Daybreak Express. We shall be joined by our sister in the United States of America, Loisa Okaiso. She is in the States, in the United States of the great power called America, where we have the president having double standards. She will be right. She's right here, right now as we speak. Let's start with her. Good morning, Dr. Loisa Akisa. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
We are fine. Good. It's midnight. It's past midnight in America. And if you don't mind, you can speak louder so that our people can hear you in Africa. We want to get the experiences of what is happening in the United States as we speak right now.
Okay, is it a lot better now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you a lot better now.
Okay, great. I am so excited to be here with Punchline African TV this morning.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yes. So, like I said, I'm really excited.
What is the situation? Let me put straight questions to you. How has America reacted to the COVID-19? We see on the pictures on CNN. We want live examples from you in America. How have you coped? How have you reacted? What are the emergency plans so that we can learn a few of your lessons to implement them on African continent? How have you coped with the COVID-19?
Thank you so much. That's a very good question, and I'm glad that you're asking that. Here in America, of course, we are highly impacted by the COVID-19. I must say that the numbers from WHO, we're talking about globally, we're looking at like 1 million, but in America, we're looking at over 200,000 cases.
So,
and about 25 to 50,000 dead at this point.
so the number seemed to have risen higher in the last 2 weeks,
Yes.
and it is superseding.
Absolutely.
It has surpassed or bypassed the limit of 9/11. Is that true?
Yes, absolutely. So the curve has risen, it's rapidly escalating, and it's very, very concerning because even though that people have experienced some kind of disaster or some kind of pandemic in the past, we were not actually ready for this. And I believe that fear is the great thing here that is affecting the people. Fear and anxiety is really affecting the people even more than the virus. People are extremely very afraid in their homes. You know, they've lost hope. People have lost financial freedom. People have lost relationships. They've lost families. And so it is not really, it's a very pathetic thing here in the United States. And I must say that so many of the states here are highly on the lockdown right now. For example, like New York, New Jersey, we're on a lockdown. Virginia just joined. That was yesterday. So majority of the stores are on a lockdown. Maybe one or two, grocery stores to be open in an area. So really the big thing here is fear. The big thing is fear. People are being quarantined, but are not able to manage what is going on because it's pretty new for a majority of people, I must say.
Okay. The big thing that you are saying is fear. Is fear in America? You are saying is fear. It is the same thing in Africa. Is fear. In Africa, we are added with theories, fake news. Fear is worse, is becoming worse. The people who are spreading fake news. Do you think the World Health Organization, because I know you are an expert on international agencies, do you in your own assessment that the World Health Organization, a branch of the United Nations, did it give us ample time and ample information regarding this pandemic? Did it fail on its job? Did it sleep on this job? 2, did America, as a superpower, inform the world of what was going on? How come that this time, every time America has been sending signals to us about terrorists attacking various places and insecurity in several African countries? How did America, for the first time, fail to detect and to tell us to get prepared? What is the problem that took place there? Please put it as in perspective.
Yes, thank you so much for that question. And I must say that I do trust the figures from the WHO, not so much of the media, because the media sometimes have got their own secret agendas. And so the figures might be conflicting in a lot of cases. But when it comes to the WHO, I believe that they are doing, great homework like it was just circulating around the African states, daily. But in this case, it came all the way from China and Italy and Brazil and just started coming down. And so I believe that if we have, America had taken up and enforced some of the security measures like they are doing right now, right on time, then it would have reduced the numbers. But things were not done right on time. And flights, for example, were still coming in from different parts of the world. And when you have flights coming in and out, anything can happen. You cannot, the virus literally would be able to survive for up to 3 hours. So can you imagine in 3 hours how many people that you can infect with the virus? So I think that that's really the big problem here. And that was the mistake.
That is the mistake. That is the mistake indeed. And in developed democracies where you and I live, and on the African continent, a mistake of that nature. America has been on the forefront. America removed its citizens from Wuhan. They told them to leave as early as November, December. They tell all the families with non-essential activities in Wuhan to leave. They did not signal to us. We rely on your superiority on information sharing. Why did they delay? Those are questions for other time. There is no blame now. Now, our solutions. America seems to have closed itself to itself. America has not given any outright hand to African countries that are struggling, that you always police on other issues like human rights. This is also one of the human rights activities that human beings are being wiped out. I thought this was the time for America to show leadership in the world, to stand, and even if it has problems. We have countries like Britain. They have problems, but they are assisting African countries. They are sending aid. They are sending their crews even to come and help people. Aid is coming from Europe. Why is America closed and has closed its borders, and there is not even any help financially coming to African countries? Please.
So I do think that it is not just against the African countries. They have closed their borders. I think the first place they started closing their borders to was Asian and European countries. I'm not going to support that in any way, and I'm not saying that they are right with that. Everyone is agitated at this point, of course, because of the numbers people are losing their lives, innocent people, innocent children, innocent parents who do not deserve it are losing their lives, losing their homes. So we are all agitated. But I do think that what I would encourage us to do is to begin to look into solutions in terms of how can we manage the situation right now. Like I mentioned before, that people are most affected by fear more than anything else. Fear is the big factor here. And so where there is fear, there is going to be an increase in mental health issues. And that's something that we have to deal with. Where there's fear, there's going to be an increase in negativity all over the world.
Okay.
So now think about it. Right now, everywhere in the world, that means quarantine. But have we ever asked the question, what happens behind the door? So as a civility expert, I'm very concerned about, the livelihood of people. I'm very concerned about how we can create violence.
Okay.
For human beings.
Yes, I understand you.
What WHO might be interested in the clinical part of it, but what about the people who are home, who are not infected by the virus, but something else is killing them?
So, yes, thank you very much. I want to tell you your figure in America your figure in America stands, right now your figure in America stands at 215,300 people, if cases, and then we have 5,110 people dead, 8,878 recovered confirmed cases for today only. Last night up to morning, we have 297 who have died. This is not a very good picture at all, given that you are the leaders in medicine, in science. We rely on you. That fear you are talking about is now being transferred to us, that if America can lose such people, what about countries in Africa where there is no road? Some countries have no dispensary, have no medicine, have no kit for this COVID-19. We are indeed getting worried, and I want to tell you frankly that these figures of America are very, very worrying for us, and we pray with you. We want to put prayers, just as we pray for ourselves, we are also praying for the world. This is not a good example at the beginning. I just want to put a question. Was it Trump? Was it, and let me put the question first, because Americans should direct questions. Was it Trump who floated, who slept on the job? Why? Was there intelligence enough about this disease? We have research laboratories, we have researchers, we have doctors, specialists from America. What happened? Why were we not told? Where did the international intelligence network sleep on the job? How could we have allowed this to create this type of thing to magnify? Yet we can even go to the moon. We can go to Mercury. We can go to Venice. How on earth? These are questions that I am asking candidly as a person from the third world country where we are. We are asking, we are trying to prevent what is invisible. What happened exactly? Where did the president go wrong? Because at the beginning, you got this information from Wuhan as early as November, and you knew you evacuated your people. What happened?
Yes, thank you so much for that question. You see, when we talk about isolation and human beings, I think one thing that is very difficult, I must say, is trying to contain people or keeping them away from their regular state of normalcy. So even though we are aware of how, impactful COVID-19 is on the health of people, the authorities had announced that people should try to stay back at home. But people were not doing that. For example, last year, we had people stepping out to the park, stepping out to go and look at the cherry blossom. These are not things that should be happening. People were still walking around. They did not realize how bad things are going to get. We just take for granted. It was announced that we should stay at home, but probably wasn't properly enforced. But in the past 2 weeks, where the president had to personally ensure that we had lockdown in certain cities, I believe that at this point we would be able to begin to control or contain the virus, and expect and hope to see a reduced number from now.
Okay.
Now, was it done on time? No, it wasn't done on time. It was announced, but human beings will always be human. They would always still go to different places. But you have to apply some kind of force.
Okay.
Now, I also want to mention that my heart, of course, goes out to Africa, because when I think about people in Africa, people who die? What about children who are being abused on a daily basis?
Yes.
And they are in their home, they are locked up, they are quarantined to stay with the abuser, to stay with the pedophile in the same house. So you can imagine that the aftermath of the virus is actually going to be worse than what is happening right now.
Okay.
Because we do not know what is happening behind closed doors.
Okay. Thank you.
This is very frightening.
Thank you very much, Loisa Akaisa, Dr. Loisa Akaisa, right from Virginia in United States of America. We want to give you time to sleep. We want to give you, I know it is past midnight in the United States where you are. Thank you. We shall be engaging you on a daily basis, more so on live TV with our programs when you wake up. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving us the insight of what is happening in America. Viewers, that was Dr. Loisa Akaiso, who is in the United States of America, in one of the states where he says the situation is fear and fear. And this fear is back in. Thank you very much, Doctor. We shall come back to you later. Have a nice sleep in the US, and God bless you. And we shall send your message to Africa. The rest of Africa is listening all the way from Nigeria. You know Nigeria, Biafra. You know what is happening in Nigeria. The Biafran people are being killed on a daily basis. They including the killings that we see. Yes, good morning. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Punchline Africa TV.
Yes, good morning. You are calling from where?
I'm calling from Nairobi, Kenya.
Yes, a quick one. 1 minute you have?
Yes, pardon, come up again.
1 minute.
Yes. First of all, I want to talk about whatever the Honorable Moses Kuria has been doing on his timeline. And for those of us who are smart, understand that he has been chipping in with some elements of sabotage. That is not right at this moment. This moment is a time when the president needs a lot of support from all Kenyans, you alone legislators. And it's quite unfortunate that this a member of parliament who represents the head of state in parliament.
We shall tackle him after here. We are
Yes.
we have the machinery to answer him.
Yes.
He's part of the clique that has been seeking regime change. Don't worry, let's do full facts. Let's fight. Let's help the government to fight COVID-19. After that, we shall go. Everybody knows who Kuria is. If we can buy witnesses to go and slaughter people in the Hague, then he can go to any extent to do anything in order to earn publicity and money. So, you know, there are no handouts anymore. So people like Kuria have to do the handout job so that they get some more handouts which are left in the drawers. So don't worry about that. We are able machinery to answer Kuria. Kuria has nothing. This is a man who was begging for lunch about 13, 14, 15 years ago from some of us who were already working. So don't worry about it. We shall come back to him. And there's a government spokesman to answer him. There is the state house spokeswoman who must do the answer. But we, as friends of President Uhuru Kenyatta, we shall answer Kuria shortly. And let's prepare our answers. We shall go for him on social media like he's going for people, for the president in social media. No problem. Don't worry. We know him. We know he's you know, the worst situation at the moment is that handouts are not coming. So you must write something in order to have handouts.
I agree with you. And in essence, that is a bad politics of tokenism that we've been against for all the time.
Talk easy. Let's slowly construct our statement. Talk easy. The politics of handism. Thank you very much. Another caller coming in. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Caller.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. You have 1 minute.
Thank you so much, Bachelor Africa TV, and whatever you think about,
Okay.
From the travel bans and prohibiting of mass gathering and shutting down schools, governments across Africa begin a COVID program. And even the moves that have been made, the thought are very good. And I want to talk about
Okay, your line is not clear. Your line is not clear. Let's move to Kampala. We want to move on to Kampala. There's a caller coming in from Kampala who has been waiting to call us. Our correspondent Paul Carrera from Kampala is on standby from Kampala. But viewers, the Daily Nation newspaper of
I'm joining the World Health Organization's Safe Hands Challenge. Hand washing is one of the most effective ways of preventing the spread of coronavirus. Wash your hands with soap and water for at least 40 to 60 seconds.
Good morning, viewers, wherever you are. This is Daytime Express coming from Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from the Republic of Kenya, in Nairobi and in other parts of the world, wherever you are, in Nigeria, in Ghana, in North Africa, in Cairo, in Tripoli. Thank you very much. In Kampala, in Kigali, in DRC Congo. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are interrupted in the first session after talking to America and after discussing many issues with the American Dr. Louise Akaisa, who is based in Virginia in America. We have now crossed back to Africa. And there is one caller who actually said, or he wrote on the system, that we have forgotten about Biafra. We are talking about Nigeria and the disease at the moment. We are not part of the regime in Nigeria. We don't work with the Nigerian government. We work voluntarily. And we want to take this opportunity to tell you, Mr. Ezuku, that we have been working voluntarily for the people of Biafra for the last 4 years, since the thing in Biafra started. So when such comments are shallow, they are prudish, they are sardonic, and they deserve the highest degree of condemnation from your friends who are from Biafra. We don't want such loose language on our television station. We work voluntarily. We defend the people of Biafra. We have no regrets for defending Biafrans. And therefore, when we have not talked about Biafra, you don't condemn us. And you don't tell us that we are part of, we don't know who Buhari is. We don't know his height. We don't know his food. And don't ever do that on this television station. You better tune to another television station, not ours. We are not a party to sad idiotic approaches. Thank you very much, Mr. Ozuku, because you are used to corruption in Nigeria, and you think all of us are used to corruption. We don't miss our words. We are people who have done our best to defend Nigeria. And we feel so bad for you to write such a comment on our wall. Get warned, Mr. Brother. Otherwise, we shall block you and we don't want to hear you. We are known by even Nnamdi Kanu himself. He knows our stand. We have never, that we don't want to be associated with bad manners of your ways of how Buhari is slaughtering people in Biafra. We are against it and we stand. We have even petitioned the AU. How many statements have you written to the AU? 0. We have written several statements. And for you to come on our platform to insult us is stupid, and you are the highest idiot of the highest degree. Thank you very much. Let's tune on, go back to our show, and we continue with our broadcast as it is today. Thank you very much, Daytime Express, and we want to take this opportunity to welcome our correspondent from Kampala, a veteran journalist working with international radio station based in Kampala and worldwide, Mr. Paul Carrera. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, sir. Speak loud, speak up, sir. Can you update us with the situation in Kampala?
The situation in Kampala is locked down, like you are aware, and everybody is trying to adhere to the rules and regulations, although they are pretty were taken out of the sanctuary because most people do not actually expect that. But when you move around Kampala, it's totally locked down. There's nothing in the streets of Kampala. Same for the few areas, the housing areas where people are still doing some exercises, walking, buying some foodstuffs, going back to their houses. And I think people are trying to get used to the pandemic, although there is quite a lot that needs to be done to make sure that the people keep to adherence to the rules and regulations, because as you know, the pandemic is more with cleanliness, hygiene, and a lot about discipline, which the Ugandan community have not gotten good and acclaimed to.
Thank you very much, and we would like to have a view. President Museveni gave the first 13 conditions, and when he saw that the other conditions were not working, he came back with new regulations. How are people taking up these new regulations? I would like to take the opportunity by telling you I agree with his lockdown. So I want you, I am sorry I have preempted you, but I agree with the lockdown.
Yes.
Given what I have seen in Wuhan, I have talked to so many survivors in Wuhan. I agree with Museveni's lockdown. That is the best lockdown. I think let's try to, if you have nothing to do in the city, don't come there. There's food in every place. But if they are going to give food to the people, I 100% agree with President Museveni's lockdown. That's for sure. So you can get it from there. Don't speak and hide some words. I agree with the lockdown. It is the best way you can actually now isolate the cases. In the few cases that arrived by airport, not to allow them to go in the villages, not to allow them to mix up with people. Let the people stay back at home. That is a lockdown that I agree with. It is only 14 days. I believe Ugandans should take it very seriously and stay home, because one of the things that made out of Paul.
Yes. put to voice in the country. To mingle and be together. So they realized that it could not. He actually realized that it couldn't work. So that's why he came up with an extra number of measures which he outlined and has been ensuring that it works out, because it's the only way that the Ugandans will actually appreciate that we are going to close the fight, the spread of this pandemic, if it has to be spread. Of course, the issue of planes flying, currently we are not experiencing any flights apart from cargo planes, to which he was very clear that a cargo plane can only land in Uganda. It only has the flight crew on board without any extra persons on the flight. Any other extra person on the flight is not accepted. All our borders currently are under monitoring. Some have been shut down. So we are actually seeing that it could work, and currently, as you know, Uganda stands at about 33 cases. We don't have any deaths recorded at the moment, and we are expecting in a few minutes another update from the Ministry of Health with regard to the number of cases, any that have increased, and with regard to the current situation. And we also hope that we will have the president speak to us, hopefully before the weekend, to give us an update and possibly share with us any other further concerns with regard to the current lockdown in the country.
So, thank you very much, brother. And we want to see the provisions of food. I saw the Prime Minister announcing regulations on how food is going to be given. And I agree that food at this hour and the donations can be very cantankerous. Is there any way that the government will receive private donations from people so that they can channel them? Because there are many people who would like to donate, and food that the government says it will give food at all. And two, the opposition leaders, all of them seem to agree that there is need for a lockdown at the moment. Is that the view that every Ugandan has, or everybody has? Are you seeing it as the right way of doing politics in our country for the first time, that opposition agrees on something which is of national importance?
Actually, like you said, as an opposition, although not the entire opposition, have definitely embraced the current situation and the current position of government. I saw some food relief from the Forum of Democratic Change, which is one of the leading opposition political parties in the country. They were plugging off some food relief items to be given to the needy people. And as you must be aware, the president, through the office of the Prime Minister, has asked that any contribution, any form of support goes through the office of the Prime Minister under the supervision of the Prime Minister himself, Dr. Rakana Lukuta. And so far, so good. We are seeing very good positive support from the people, from the general public. We have seen some corporate companies coming out to support in form of items and in form of money. And we think this is a very good picture because considering the fact that it was a total surprise to some of the people, and some of the people who take in the urban centers being unable to make purchases for themselves with the lockdown implemented, we think it's a good gesture for them to channel in the Prime Minister's office, so then they can be fully supported and availed with some of these items so that we can see how it can take us further in the survival while we adhere to the lockdown situation. But much as it has been turned out by other political stakeholders not to think that it was a good lecture, think that they should go against it. We think that this is not just a political gimmick. We think it's a collective effort. We think that even while the other political players think the ruling party could take advantage of this current situation, we think it will also, to their part, also show the public that they are part of the problem and they could be part of the solution, rather than to lament and think that the situation will come to an end when they advance their political decisions and positions. But by and both, we think the situation will definitely be contained, considering the fact that Uganda is a homogeneous country and the people are out there and understand that it's for the whole good that the current situation will be overcome.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul Karea from Kampala. If you can stay on the line and listen to the figures in Africa. These are the figures in Africa as we stand now this morning. Kenya, 81 cases, 1 dead, 3 recovered. Uganda, 44 cases, no death, no recovery. Tanzania, confirmed cases, 20, dead 1, 2 actually. Another one died this morning. I think, no, 20 cases increased from 19 to 20, 1 dead, 1 recovered. South Africa, 1,380 cases, 5 dead, recovered 50. Burundi, 2 cases only. And Zimbabwe, 80 cases, 1 dead, no recovery. Angola, 7 cases, dead 2, 1 recovered. Sudan, 7 cases, dead 2, recovered 2. Egypt, 779 cases, 52 people dead, recovered 179. Egypt is hit, is one of the top one on African list with 52 people dead. Morocco, 654 cases, 39 dead, 29 recovered. Liberia, 6 confirmed cases, nil on both death and recovery. Chad, 7 cases, nil, recovery and death. Burkina Faso confirmed 282 cases, 16 dead, recovered 46. Somalia confirmed 5 cases, recovered 1. Gambia, 4 cases, dead 1, recovered nil. Cameroon, 233 cases, 6 dead, 10 recovered. And then Senegal, 190, dead 1, recovered 45. Ivory Coast, 190, dead 1, recovered 45. Ghana, 195, dead 5, recovered 31. Mauritius, 161, dead 6, recovered 0. Nigeria figure, especially in the Biafran area, those recovered are 9, 2 are dead, 174 cases in total. It has shot up. It had about 60 cases. It has now overnight shot up, and it could be more because you remember there is war in Nigeria. In the northern part, the Boko Haram. In the southern part, the Biafran people are being murdered by the Buhari groups of militia and the army. So we have a very serious situation in Nigeria. Democratic Republic of Congo, 109, 9 dead, 3 recovered. Congo Brazzaville, 22, dead 2. Rwanda, the cases, it has shot up to 82 cases in Rwanda, no recovery, no death. Madagascar, 57, no recovery, no death. Zambia, 36, no recovery, no death. Togo, confirmed, 36 cases, 2 dead, recovered 10. Mali, confirmed, 31 cases, dead 3, no recovery. Niger, confirmed, cases 74, 5 dead, no recovery. Ethiopia, 29, 2 dead, no recovery. Tunisia, 423 cases, dead 12, recovered 5. Djibouti, 33 cases. And as you can see, most of the North African states have this problem that we see now. Guinea-Bissau, Conakry, 30, no dead, no recovery. Equatorial Guinea, 15, 1 recovered, no dead person. Gabon, confirmed cases 18, dead 1, no recovery. Libya, 10 cases so far, and no recovery, no data of dead people. Mozambique, 10 cases, no recovery, no dead person. Sierra Leone, 1 case, and the last country in Africa is Benin. Thank you very much. From those figures, you can see that Egypt, Morocco, and Tunisia are leading in numbers of dead people or those who are dying because of COVID-19. Your last comment, sir, before we turn on to other about the Kenyan situation. What do you think Kenya has done better in terms of keeping the population working, having a curfew at night, but during the daytime, operations are going on. People are observing conditions of distancing, social distancing, washing their hands. Industries are working. People are not prohibited to come with their cars and not to sit, but conditions. People must be very careful, apart from the public transport, where you have to carry 80 people instead of 14. Yes?
Doctor?
Yeah.
I think for this pandemic to be utilizing in Africa as a continent, because we need to have almost all the leaders get a common ground of understanding so that the situation can be contained. When you look at Kenya, much as you have curfew at night, you realize actually that it's not going to help. It will actually run out of hand. A similar situation can be looked at from South Africa. Actually, the numbers are very huge, and the situation is going out of hand.
Okay.
Because they actually don't take the situation a little serious until when they implemented the lockdown, but implementing the lockdown after a lot of movement could not help them sort of the situation, because most of the people who are infected had already moved to having that contact and all that kind of stuff. I think for Kenya, much as they have done the lockdown, but there is a challenge that some of these people could be infecting others even during the day. And yet, whatever they do, not really protecting for the region. To advance further, we think that if they adhere to a similar situation, which could follow suit like other international countries, it would rather be helpful for them to eventually take up and contain the situation.
Yes, thank you very much, my dear brother. Thank you very much from Kampala. Thank you very much from Kampala. Stay tuned for another program at about 11 o'clock or 12 or at night. I will ask you more comfortably when you are at home. Thank you very much. Take care. There's another program at 8 o'clock East African Standard Time where we can have more time to correspond from Kampala. Collect as much data as possible and stay safe. God bless you. The total cases in Africa stand at the total number 60,383, 5,642, 505, 236. That's the total number of people that stands today as we speak. The numbers are very alarming, yes, but we must keep our regulations. We must keep the regulations of washing our hands, making sure that everything is washed. Use the soap. 6,383 in Kenya are in the whole Africa. Total confirmed cases, active confirmed cases, 564, recovered 5,642. Those are active confirmed cases. Then we have the dead, that as you see from the clip. Thank you very much. Thank you, viewers. God bless you. This is Daytime Express, which usually starts at 9 o'clock. I'm very sorry that today we have got quite a lot of interruptions. Our power from the general headquarters, where the transmission engineers are, got cut off. I do apologize also to very many of our viewers who wanted to contribute, but in the first place, they were left with nothing to contribute. And we would like to tell you that some of the comments that people write annoy us, but don't go overboard to write comments that annoy us. We have been standing with the people of Nigeria, of Biafra for a long time. We have never been told by Nigerian government to stop, because we are not controlled by Nigerian government. We don't survive because of Nigerian government. But for someone who has been watching our television doing free work and voluntary work, we deserve an apology from this gentleman. Otherwise, it is not very good at all for you to make such stupid allegations on our television station. I'm very sorry. I took it to finish it there. It is over. Continue watching. Make your contribution, but don't make insults. Don't insult all of us are at a high temperature at the moment. We are stressed with COVID-19. Our families are not safe. Ourselves, we are not safe. So when you come to the television station, measure your comments that you make that don't inflame other people's emotions. Because not everybody is laughing or enjoying or talking about. We cannot talk about politics at the moment. We have said the situation in Lagos, in Port Harcourt, in Abuja, not Abuja, in Onitsha. I have friends, very close comrades, friends of mine we have studied with in London. We have very many of them Biafrans, millions of them like my work, and I don't want anybody to color my work with stupidity of that nature. Thank you very much, viewers. Thank you, and God bless you. Enjoy your day. We come at 11 o'clock with Miriam taking you through the Good Morning Africa and the rest of the news. I will come back at about 12 with diplomatic leaks of how we see how diplomats have. You saw the lady in the United States said the whole thing was badly handled, and that is where the situation went wrong. Thank you very much. God bless you. Yes.
must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.